Hey guys, this is Jared Flynn with the Bulk Loads podcast. Thank you for joining us. I have Tyler with me.
What's going on, guys?
Hey Tyler, somebody said the other day we were about out of these hats.
Yeah, they're flying off the shelves.
And I'm gonna how many did we order?
500, almost 600.
600
Yeah,
hats.
just a couple months ago.
And these are nice Richardson 112 trucker hats, but we are about out of these hats. We have never sold a hat today.
Right.
We give these away to our customers and subscribers and friends, and we want to give them to you. So if you're watching this podcast right now, and we make this as easy and frictionless as possible, if you want one of these, what do you want them to do, Tyler?
Yeah, just send me an email, tyler@bulkloads.com. We'll package you one up, send it in the mail to you completely for free. All that we ask in return is that you just simply leave us a review on our podcast or our app, or even give us a shout out on social media and tag BulkLoads. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I want to make sure, I was shocked, it's only June and
we're about to have to place
out
another
of our
order.
Summer hats. Yeah. So if you want one of these, get a hold of us ASAP. They're literally flying off the shelf, and we're about out of them.
Yeah, and Jared, you got something kind of special coming for summer too? Some new shirts or something?
I do, man. We're probably gonna have to put it in the backdrop here. But last year, if you remember, we did the farmers grow it, truckers move it type shirt. We wanted to do another one to symbolize kind of summertime with our truckers. So we have another one coming out that's kind of a good warm summer feel, a good shirt to wear at the lake and at family gatherings. So we should hopefully have them here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited for them.
We'll have them on the podcast, and we'll be gladly to mail you out those for free.
Yep.
So awesome. Well, today's podcast, I'm going to bring on Dr. Gary Kesser. He is founder and CEO of TradeHelp. They had actually reached out to us a couple months ago, asking if they could come on the podcast. They knew who we were and our marketplace and kind of who we serve, and they thought it would complement what they are doing. And I'm not going to talk details about them. I'm going to let them kind of speak for themselves. But think about bulk loads kind of more worldwide.
Yeah.
When I say so, if you're trying to move a commodity or product from here in the United States all the way to Japan or Europe or vice versa, trying to move something from overseas over here, that's where they come into play. And they've created a solution and software from an end-to-end getting products moved globally, specifically commodities.
Yes.
So Gary and I spoke about this, and we're always excited. Over the years when we started, I would love to have people promote us to get us out there for others to see. So I'm always thankful to return the favor to people that want us or want to come on our show and help them out and promote it. So with that said, here's my conversation with Gary Kesser of TradeHelp. Hey, Gary, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Jared, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, well, Kara and your
excited.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Kara and your
the opportunity.
Yeah, Kara and your department reached out to us to come on our show. Man, we love highlighting businesses in the commodity sector, especially businesses like yours that bring value to our client base. And there's a lot of cross marketing that we deal with. Pleasure to bring you on, Gary. Man, give us just the high level. Man, someone that just turned this on. Give us the high level of what TradeHelp is.
Thanks, Jared. I appreciate it. The pleasure is all mine, sir. Thank you. Well, TradeHelp. I founded the company in 2014 as a boutique commodity trading firm at that time. So that goes back to 9 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Then the platform concept was born in 2016. The reason being is being in international trade in a supply chain for 20 years, I encountered many gaps living through the pains and issues and needs in the process, disconnect and challenges in the global trade, especially for underserved small and mid-sized enterprises, who, as we well know, comprise 80, if not more, % of the global GDP, right?
Yeah.
And who have very limited open market access on fair grounds and level play field, which is not absent. Which is absent. No leverage, no buying or selling power against the large players in the industry. And it applies to both categories, right? Physical commodity merchandisers, from farmers to end buyers, and all service providers like truckers, freight forwarders, ocean carriers, cargo inspection companies, and everybody who physically touches and moves the products. So basically all service providers from origin to destination. And the SMEs, the small and mid-sized companies, historically have little access to a lot of different instruments like trade finance, to conduct their commodity trading or services business. And after identifying and defining those gaps and needs that the industry really, struggles with, and all the challenges which exist till today, with operation deficiencies, paper trails, manual processes, we started architecting the system, basically transforming all analog and manual processes that are taking place in global trade from the commodity standpoint and also for the services operations, and try to build the system that will enable companies to conduct the business digitally in a digital format, to save them time, to save them overhead, and most importantly, to gain the open market access. So this is how TradeHelp was born, through the processes of proof of concepts, tapping into the marketplaces, tapping into different segments of the market. And we built TradeHelp as a fully integrated B2B ecosystem for physical commodities, raw materials, byproducts, and all commercial services that are operating in the space. And the system consists of two main segments. It's a real-time marketplace for physical commodities,
Mm-hmm.
and all trade services with the high-tech operating engine for commodity merchandisers and service providers to conduct the business with each other. That's essentially what TradeHelp does. It facilitates the processes from pre-trade discovery of products and services, where companies are publishing their commodity offers or inquiries, same exact equal way on the services side, when companies are seeking for services, or they offering their services to the commodity merchandisers and also to the service providers on the same exact level. So a system allows the users basically to trade physical commodities and trade services by digitally bridging and engaging all parties in between. On the commodity merchandising side, and all service providers, which allows them to source, to negotiate, to contract, and to trade products and services at the same time among unlimited number of participants. And it's done, the way system operates, it's facilitates it in a discrete, confidential way to make sure that any sensitive information, any commercial, proprietary information is discrete and only open to the parties that are part of the processes. So the commodity merchandisers and service providers can essentially buy and sell products and trade services in a fully to fulfill their contractual obligations, and also the services that can be needed to be executed as part of the commodity trading contract, like ocean, air, inland freight, freight forwarding, logistics services, vessel chartering, cargo inspection companies, cargo insurance, terminal handling, and everything that is well known to how the processes are taking place in the commodity trading world. And the strategic advantage of what we built in TradeHelp as a SaaS, which is a service, a software as a service system,
Mm-hmm.
is that it engages not only the commodity merchandisers from downstream, let's say from farmers to end buyers, with each other to buy and sell products, but equally service providers buying and selling their services, which was never done before. We well know that service providers like truckers, freight forwarders, especially in the small and mid-sized level, which are the majority of the marketplace, they've been historically overlooked and very well underserved, not having this open market access to what's out there, not only domestically but internationally as well, to give them the equal opportunity to participate in global trade processes. And this is super important. I mean, we've seen a lot of different e-commerce platforms. I mean, they call themselves trading platforms, but they don't really allow the opportunities, equal opportunities for service providers to participate on the commodity trading side of the business, to go up out in the market, to benchmark their pricing, to benchmark their services, but most importantly, to find the cargo, right? To find the cargo owners, to move the products from point A to point B. So this is what we built, and we use TradeHelp as a successful beta platform, tapping into different market segments to get the feel of what the audience actually needs, and we get a very successful traction. and the feedback from the marketplace. So this is essentially what we did. And the system provides exponential opportunities, obviously, outside of the existing networks that companies operate today, and unmatched operational efficiencies on the time and the cost and in-house overhead as well. So we we facilitate businesses not only on the domestic level but also internationally, because the system allows to mitigate a lot of commercial and financial risks. And we're building a lot of relationships with outside partners as well that would bring value add to the system by means of API integration. We have partnerships with trade finance platforms, which will be able to provide access to the funding and cash to the small and mid-sized companies, not only on the commodity trading side, but also for the service providers to facilitate their financial needs to execute the contracts once the deals are done on the platform. So we feel very good and very optimistic about giving a lot of tools and mechanisms for companies to conduct a business, not only to trade products, but also to engage the service providers on the same exact level in the real time scenario, from pre-trade to negotiating to e-contracting, executing, communicating on the platform without the need to sit on the platform 24/7. We have a lot of different system modules that make life of commodity merchandisers and service providers very, very easy. System notifies outside of the platform 24/7 on any activity, and any user can set up different criteria how they want to be engaged, because you're always going to see someone who's more active, the other ones are more passive, because you always will have that part of audience who are observers, right? They want to see what their competitors are doing, but they're not going to be able to see inside of any negotiating process what's going on. So
Well,
we take it really sensitive.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I wanted to just start with asking questions about that. In my career, there's been several commodity trading platforms that have kind of come into the market, and I've always been on the grain side, so I'm going to use it more from a grain commodity perspective. But man, it never seemed like any of them have ever been able to get lifted off the ground to get to the next level where there's movement and grain or commodities actually traded on the platform. It's always, we always say it's that chicken and the egg. You might have some shipments on there, but like I mean, I'm not going to name drop them all, but there was even a large one here recently. I mean, had $1 billion, I think, invested into it, and they just weren't able to get the grain marketplace off the ground. And so I'll ask this. I mean, I'm always supportive and believer, but like, what would make your platform probably different than some of these others that we've seen come and go over the past several years?
Excellent question, Jared. We've been debating the same question in-house in the company for quite a while. My intuitive guess is that the most important piece when you build a system like that is to make sure that you make it easy, you make it simple, you make it practical. So you just need to follow the business protocol rationale if you want to speak. But I guess the challenges were to really connect the pieces of puzzle that would transform how people do it manually today and integrate tools that were substitute the necessity of communication, of documentation creation, exchange, and flow the processes to make sure that the interface essentially does what people and how people were doing it till this day in real life. So I guess that's why maybe some of the platforms never took off, because users felt that it doesn't really solve the full suite of needs, going from point A to point B.
We said earlier there was I know trust was always a big one, exposure, because I mean, especially when you're dealing with commodities, I mean, man, your position is your secret sauce, of what you're willing to trade. But I know you kind of mentioned that's a big one, is just making sure that people can kind of privately have conversations, or they're not exposed or at a risk when they're using your platform, right? You mentioned something along that lines.
Exactly. We made the platform driven by compliance very, very seriously. We take compliance and due diligence at the top. we need to ensure that we, first of all, we nourish the safe and secure trading environment, because we know how sensitive a lot of information can be. So the companies are publishing their whether commodity offers or inquiries or service offers an increase in the system with some sort of a price indication, how they see the market, or without any indication at all, meaning that they will be receiving the counter proposals and offers in the system coming from direct interested parties. And if you're not party to engagement in any specific case, your competitors will never going to see what the other guys are doing. So we have different methods where the system customizes and secures the data flow in the data exchange. System even allows companies to bypass the publicly open trading portal and having the direct operations and negotiations basically without any disclosure of what's going on. So system is very flexible and can be customizable to accommodate any imaginable way of how companies want to conduct the business, and communicate also in the same interface without leaving the platform. That's the point that you raised, Jared. It's very important. What was lacking before, right? I guess when companies, and we know traders, we know service providers, I mean, they want to do things safe, simple, secure, and fast. So whether it's a communication aspect, system is designed the way that there's no need to pick up the phone and call. I mean, you can discuss and talk live, through either the chat or communication module and system. You can exchange the documents from the beginning of the process, from the RFQ, RFP, on initial inquiries, all the way to negotiating the end contract in the system, which is another really fascinating tool that we have that allows companies to exchange the terms and conditions on the contract at the end of the day and customize it any possible way. And until this process is done to satisfaction of all parties on acceptance and confirmation, and all the way to the e-signature, system facilitates all these processes. So I guess why the previous platforms never took off is because they were providing limited capabilities.
Yeah.
At this point in time, and trust is very important. We're receiving hundreds of inquiries a day, but we don't enable access or approve registrations just for about anybody. We take the process very, very diligently. We vet every single company that files for the registration on the platform. So every new application goes through a vetting process on the compliance, on the legal side, because we know when it comes to trade, a company can be in good standings today, right? But something went off, maybe not even by their fault, but indirectly by some of their partners, and they're getting red flagged by our customs, right? By CBP or by Department of Commerce or by ITC, and things are not going really well. So we need to make sure that we're not endangering other users on the platform if somebody did something wrong, if somebody got on some embargoed list or prohibited items, or commodity vetting and compliance is a very, very important piece of what we're doing. And also we have partnership programs with companies. I don't want to call the names now, but the ones who provide the biggest databases of companies domestically and internationally, where the companies' profiles are being vetted, being verified on a daily basis for the credit ratings, for the trade compliance standings, a lot of different criteria to make sure that the business is sound. Because if something goes wrong, we don't want to be in a situation that we in some way, although being a service provider, we're not taking any interest, we're not commissioning anyone. We're just a platform who facilitates businesses to come together and to do what they need to do to reach their business objectives. But we're not taking any interest in anything that the companies are doing. which is another good thing. And another reason why some of the platforms didn't take off, because they were dipping into the pockets.
One of the last
we're
ones specifically, they were people didn't know if they were a service provider or a competitor at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You cannot do it. There's a lot of risk,
Yeah.
Jared, right? You know it. You've been in the industry for decades. You know how it goes.
Yeah. That's
You know,
good.
you don't want to be the guy who's eating up the other guy's lunch. It's not fair. It's not cool. And this is not how the business works. Okay, we're not commissioning anyone, because look, I've been doing agri commodity trading and metals trading for 20 years. You know, some of the trades, some of the businesses are very small, marginal. You know, sometimes you need to take a hit on a trade transaction, just to keep the business pipeline going. But
Yeah.
you make it, you get the offset on your loss. Sometimes you need to break even. Sometimes you need to take a hit. So if a company is trading and conducts the contract on our platform at a loss or breaking even, there's nothing left for them. If we will be taking a commission out of situations like that, would that make anybody happy? No. If I was the user, and if the service provider as a platform did it to me, would I be willing to use it in the future? Hell no.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions, Gary. I was going to ask, like, if you don't mind, and it may be a big question, but just give us a, like, you know, people always wonder when they're getting on looking at somebody, like it always boils down to, what's this going to cost me to use? What's the price? Can you just give us, I mean, I know it may not be crystal clear, but like for users, just kind of how that works. How does TradeHelp, profit from this or make money with service?
Very simple, Jared. We took a lot of, we conducted a pretty significant size over a year of studying the markets in different countries, because again, the platform is global. We obviously, I mean, we're a U.S. company. You know, we provide the services to U.S. Small and mid-sized enterprises, and this is how we started. The revenue model for us is a membership. Very simple,
Just like
and
ours.
very, yes, just like BulkLoads, just like you guys.
Yep.
Very simple.
Yep. That's
Now,
good.
the structure is built also in a very simplistic way. Let's say we have a membership plan that's $10, which includes 20 bids, 20 counters, whatever the companies can, just to tap and to feel it. $100 a month, roughly speaking, 115 to be exact. It's built on 1 month, 3 months, 6, 9, and 12.
Mm-hmm.
However the companies want to do it. They want to test it out, they go for 1 month.
Yep.
And we took the approach from all marketing research and studies that we've done to make it affordable in the low-cost countries, and make it affordable for companies who are, moms and pops shops. In each membership plan, let's say a monthly plan, right? All of them, they come together with a limited number of operations and limited number of everything. So basically, you just pay on a time-based basis, and you can trade, you can negotiate, you can observe, you can do whatever you want 24/7 for the whole duration of the membership. It's unlimited.
Yeah.
We're not capping on transactions, we're not capping on deals, we're not doing any of that.
I think that's so smart. One thing I've learned, and not to let the cat out of the bag, but like, don't punish people for using your service.
Exactly right.
Don't punish people for you. Yeah. Like, don't make them not want to use it because it's costing them more. And I did a lot of studying too before we launched our service.
You guys did. That's why you're successful in what you're doing. We took the same exact approach because we feel that it needs to be fair. You cannot just be punishing, exactly like you said, people to use your services. Why would you do that? It's so counterproductive.
Yeah.
It makes no business sense at all. We're business people. We came to this market offering, what we created, strictly driven by the business mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm always putting myself in customers' shoes. Would I would want something to be done to me like that? Somebody punishing me for using, or penalizing me, or cutting me, or commissioning me for what I'm losing on, even sometimes? No. I would never want to go back if that would be the situation. So
Yeah.
we want it to be as appealing, as attractive, and as business, driven as it possibly could. So we figured out that it's the easiest way for anyone. You know, you pay a monthly basis, let's say, or 3 months, you do whatever you want. Maybe you don't want to do it all, or maybe you just want to be passive, observe the market space, observe what the other guys are doing, and just getting kind of your feet wet and see how things are, and tap into this, into that. And look, it's a marketplace, right? It's an operating system, but it starts from the marketplace for companies to explore
Yep.
opportunities. You know how trade dynamics change. With China, with Europe, it's always evolving, right? Companies sometimes they're losing their trade lanes, they're just losing their business opportunities for whatever, import tariff or something like that. They need to scout for, and companies keep producing because they need to support the family. They need to, still maintain the businesses running, right? They always seek for new opportunities for new business partnerships, not only benchmarking on their competitors, but also uh, opening up new ways of doing business. And this is what we allow them to do.
Gary, I want to give just perspective or give a real life example for, say I'm listening to this podcast. I'm just going to say an example of, I have soybeans in the Midwest. I know there could be a market for those, let's just say in Asia, specifically Taiwan. Could that person, I mean, whether it be a farmer or even grain merchandiser, could they use your platform to market that, but also execute it all the way to the finish line?
Yes, absolutely, Jared. This is precisely what we're doing.
Okay.
Let's say, great example, hypothetical. So
Yep.
we can just simulate it how it's going. Let's say we have a farmer, like you said. He has 10,000 tons of soybeans sitting in a silo inland Midwest, right?
Yep.
And he wants to sell it. So he publishes the commodity offer on TradeHelp platform on his terms, his payment terms, his income terms, how he wants to sell it. Let's say he wants to sell it on X Works, right? Or FCA loaded truck at his facility at the silo. But then the counterparties, potential buyers who are seeing this commodity offer in the system, they start engaging with that seller, with that farmer or trading company. If a lot of farmers going through the trade companies, right, to help them execute the business. Farmers not necessarily, like trading. Sometimes they're crop guys. They're harvesting. We love them.
Some are getting more sophisticated where they, I mean, not to bypass, but sometimes they're like, man, is there a better market? If I can I sell these for 50 cents more a bushel,
or some excess stuff, right? I mean, there's one thing on the business when you deal with contractual obligations, if you have something revolving or long term on a supply agreement, but also sometimes you have a surplus that you want to get rid of, right? I mean, you want to clean your stock. So let's say going back to this example like that you brought up. So potential buyers from all over the planet start engaging with this seller, with this farmer or his commodity trading firm, negotiating on the business. I mean, he indicated the price, or he didn't indicate the price, but he receiving proposals and bids on his business. But guess what? Out of, let's say, 30, 40 potential buyers that came back to him, and it's all done in multilateral, discrete, dedicated threads of negotiations. And so nobody sees. I mean, the other guys don't see what you're doing, and my next guy doesn't see what I'm doing. So
nice.
Only the farmer sees all these threads of business proposals coming through into his pipeline. Okay. So, but at the end of the day, let's say through the course of a week or 10 days of negotiating with the number of potential buyers, let's say one came back and the terms, and they negotiated the terms. It's all fine on the quality, on the spec of the product, the documentation side, they exchanged it all. But that potential buyer wants to buy, let's say, FOB Seattle, right? Loaded containers. So, but the farmer doesn't want to deal with that lag, to bridge that lag. So what he does is, if he didn't get any hits or any other viable options, he creates the service inquiry adjacent to his product offer in the system, and he indicates all the services that he needs to bridge that gap on the logistics. He plugs in the service inquiry for trucking, for cargo fumigation, for cargo inspection, for equipment, which are containers or freight forwarding piece of it, everything that needs to fulfill the contractual piece from X Works to FOB loaded container in Seattle, for say.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the service providers who are part of who are using the TradeHelp, now they're exposed to this, 2 to 3, 4 service inquiries in the system, and then they start engaging with that seller, with that farmer, on offering them services, and they negotiate the pricing, the terms, the timing, the packaging, everything, all of it. So at the end of the day, that farmer, if the business goes through successfully, and that buyer on FOB loaded truck Seattle, both parties are satisfied. So the farmer concludes the commodity contract on his sell side of soybeans, and also he secures the contracts or the work orders with all service providers.
How's he collecting? How's he collecting the money? That's the main thing. How's he making sure that he's getting paid?
Well, we have architected the financial module, which will be deployed this year.
Okay.
To enable companies to settle directly on the platform, through the platform.
Because I think that's a big one, especially for people.
It is
especially farmers, because I think too, farmers aren't afraid to sell to others, but there's a trust, like, hey, I know my grain company that I'm dealing with, I know they're good on their money.
Right.
This company I met on this platform, how do I have any idea that I'm going to get paid once this grain leaves my farm?
Well, there's always an element of KYC, AML, right? I mean, we always encourage our users to do their due diligence who they're dealing with, because we're not we're not the PPI, we're not the principal party of interest, so we cannot grant the execution, but we can only enable the safety and the security of
and vet the companies that are on there,
and vet the companies, exactly.
Yep.
But then it depends also on the terms of payment, right? It depends on how the terms of payment are constructed within the Incoterms of the contract itself. Today, the financial settlements are happening outside the system, because we don't want to be positioned as we are involved in anything, like letter of credit situations or accounts, payables. But we are moving forward as we transition the system now. We haven't spoken about that, by the way, that we are transitioning TradeHelp into a different ecosystem, which is much higher on the technological side, more robust, more high end. We'll be rolling out AI elements of it, and we'll be also plugging in the financial module. And the system will be 100% dedicated to the agriculture. It'll be agri-tech trading ecosystem for agricultural commodities and services that support and facilitate agricultural trade. But I don't want to give away too much now. Yeah. But there will be some announcements coming out soon, and we plan on rolling out that new trading platform this year. So today, the financial settlements are happening outside of the system. Okay. We're allowing users to settle and to conduct the financial obligations between their banks or between each other. What we will do for them this year is providing the trade finance mechanism for them to get the funding in place for that through the API with our trade finance partners, and also on the trade credit insurance. There's a lot to talk, Jared, about what we have in the pipeline on the.
But yeah, I like said,
product development side.
Yeah, I mean, with what your systems, with what you're saying, I mean, there's a lot to this system. I mean, we could speak, for hours, maybe even days on every little segment of that. And maybe we'll have to have you on for a second show, and talk about specific sections of that. But we just today for this show, we just want to get our listener base high level knowledge and information of who TradeHelp is. Gary, we're going to put the information, the link to TradeHelp in the show notes. So if you're listening right now, you'll be able to drop down in the show notes and click on the link to learn more information. But yeah, if I'm listening to this podcast right now and I just want to, hey, this is piquing my interest. Maybe this is another avenue, for me to trade on, to use. Where would someone go, Gary, right now if they're listening? They want to know more. They want to see if this is something that can benefit them.
they can go directly to us. We're happy to accommodate and to facilitate anybody who's coming to us. We're strong believers and strong advocates for supporting SMEs, especially for us in US. And a lot of businesses are facing daily challenges. So that's the reason. That's another reason, Jared, why we decided to focus on 100% agriculture, because it's more fluid, it's more robust, and it's more supportive of the economic situation of the country today. So we also we call it a second generation of the TradeHelp because it's a way higher sophisticated functionality of the system. And also, you know what? I forgot to mention to you on the soybean example from the farmer. It doesn't end. It doesn't end on the coast, right? I mean, the system accommodates any international trade terms. So
it's global.
If let's say for that buyer who ended up buying an FOB in Seattle would have been the buyer that would buy the soybeans from the farmer directly on CAF Taipei in Taiwan. So from the service inquiries that he will create in the system, that seller, which is the farmer, he will also add the pieces like ocean transportation. So freight forwarders on NVO and NVOCC side will get involved and negotiate the business to help that farmer to bring it all the way to Taiwan, not only to Seattle, let's say. So that's another thing that I'm sorry if I went back to that example, but I figure that it'll be important for guys listening out there to also understand, the outreach that the system can provide to them, not only trading domestically, but also all the way to their buyer in Taiwan.
Be the Amazon of commodity trading.
Amazon, well, Uber.
Yeah, Uber. That sounds actually better. Yeah,
Uber of agri trade.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Well,
And
Gary,
also,
go ahead.
Garrett, they're also speaking about the value add. I think it's important that the listeners of your podcast also would realize that we are forward thinking in terms of what else we can do for the guys, for truckers, for farmers, for companies out there. We always open to partnerships because we figure that as much as we can bring in the interface under the umbrella with forward, thinking partners like yourselves, like like BulkLoads.
And we've already had discussions on that. If there's ways to partner up on the logistics side,
exactly
domestically.
So if we can offer more outstanding value add services and solutions to our customers and really help them to expand and grow their businesses domestically and internationally, that's why we're here. That's what we're trying to do and trying to achieve.
That's awesome.
So it's all super fascinating. So we can build, a big digital system that makes companies' life easier and most importantly to sustain their businesses.
Yeah, amen to that. Well, we're going to put the link in the episode notes, so you should be able to drop down. It'll take you right to their website, and I mean, you all actually have a really good website too. So it's super simple to see kind of the next steps. I love the way
you built it.
Yeah, to get in there and contact them. But Gary, man, thank you all for reaching out to us, man. We're happy to. We love watching businesses start up and seeing where they're going, especially in our space. We look forward to a partnership that we can bring with you all together. And see where that is. I think, man, this world keeps getting smaller and smaller. We know that it keeps getting more and more digital, and I think you guys are on the cusp of that. So, man, congratulations with that.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Look, when you and I first spoke about the whole trade situation, right? I mean, we picked on a lot of similar names coming from the industry, right? So it is indeed a small world.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, Gary, we'll let you go. Hey, thanks again for coming on.
Thanks, Jared. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this conversation I had with Gary. I think one thing that stuck out more than anything was just talking about trust in the people you do business with, or the services that you do business with, the software you do, anything you interact. There's a level of trust. We take trust very serious here at BulkLoads. We know that some people, when they first come to our platform, are nervous. They don't know what to expect. They want to make sure that we're legit. More importantly, that we're going to help them and service them for the payment that they're going to pay to use our service. So I love that Gary spoke on that, and we kind of really talked about, man, building trust in anything is number one,
Yeah.
Especially in business. And we know, and we take that very serious at BulkLoads.
Yeah, and not to kind of pull away from this episode, Gary did a great job, and he had a good story about the way he founded the company in 2014 and how their business model kind of shifted to the global trade market.
Yeah.
But speaking of trust, Jared, you did a really good job. You were just on the Oakley podcast, and it was one that was recorded at Matt's. They just released it. If you go to the Oakley podcast on YouTube or on Facebook, I think Oakley Trucking Inc. is their page, but that's where an episode where you really kind of line out the BulkLoads story and you kind of dive more into the whole trust and how much it factors in business and just everyday life.
Yeah, it's what makes the world turn. You have to be able to trust people that you're interacting with, but also have them trust you. And I think that's one thing I just take very serious and at heart. And you can kind of see it interwoven with what we do here at BulkLoads. All of us have a strong belief in our faith, and I think that's something too that kind of makes us in alignment with being trustworthy people and trusting all that. So that's a good one there. I enjoyed the Oakley podcast, by the way. So if you get a chance, look it up on YouTube. I think I looked like I was slouching, like I was sitting there.
They have really comfortable
I was sitting
chairs.
in a lounge chair, but I'm looking, I'm like, man, I'm like way down, slouching. I wish I would have been more up, but I was just, man, you're always a critic when you watch yourself over and over and over. He actually was talking about there's some other podcasts out there, the Oakley podcast. And honestly, I'd love to hear other podcasts that you all listen to, specifically trucking.
Yeah.
He said Maverick, big flatbed carrier, that they have their own podcast. He said it's pretty good. But I'm going to actually take the time and maybe go out and search some of these other trucking companies that have their own podcast.
Yeah, I think, it's just a great way to reach your audience and really just anything trucking, more that you can learn that you don't know. It's just a good way to really tune in, especially whenever you're in the truck just driving. Yeah.
Well, before we let you go, we have some exciting news. We are planning our BulkFreight Conference for 2024. We know that we're trending towards April.
Yep.
We don't have the exact days lined out, but we're looking at April seems to be probably the best spot to slot it in where it doesn't conflict with other holidays, other events going on. It seems like it's usually a transition in the freight industry, so it won't hopefully impact your business as much. And again, we want to be there. Last year, it was a crazy success. And if you don't know, we hosted one this last February and had over 200 people come. And this was us testing the waters to really feel like whether, it was going to be valuable to them and the people there. And I can't speak.
We actually got some heat from it because we didn't promote it that well last year. And we got a bunch of people. Hey, why didn't I get invited or whatever? This is for everyone. We want to make sure that's out there. And we're going to do a better job promoting it this year. We are actually working on the BulkFreightConference.com website to upload testimonials and videos and pictures from this past February so you can see what it was all about. But whenever you go to the website, it'll ask for your email address. Just type that in and that'll get you on the list for tickets.
Yep. We're not going to market or solicit other things to you with that email. It'll be just focused on the BulkFreight Conference. So it's BulkFreightConference.com, right?
Yeah, and I'll put that in the episode notes.
Yep. Just drop down in the episode notes and won't take you 10 seconds to put your email in there. And that way you'll be up to date. You'll be able to get your tickets immediately when we release them. So they don't, get them before they sell out. So super excited about that. So awesome. Last thing, last podcast we had a lot of responses on.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, go back to last week's podcast and listen to that one. It was one that, man, it was just on my heart. And I've heard so much positive news about what people said about that. So I have some other kind of solo ones I'm prepping and preparing. I think I've just realized that there's so much more we can be doing on this show than just guess, but there's other ways and strategies that we can do to hopefully help people in the market.
Yeah. And if there's a specific topic that you'd like Jared to kind of cover or go into, definitely let us know.
Yeah. In the intro, we talk about these hats, but also I want to point out, man, I have these books, Semi-Sam, that I started a couple years back. They are available on Amazon, but if you would like one, if you have nieces, nephews, children, grandchildren, and if you have someone that's in the education system and you want to get some for the schools, man, I would love to gift you one of these free of charge. I'll even autograph it. I would hate saying that. I don't think I'm that important of a person, but I'm happy to autograph it or address it to whoever you're gifting the book to. But yeah, all you have to do, get a hold of us, reach out to Tyler, man. I will drop you one in the mail free of charge.
Yep. And fall's just coming up quicker than we think. So it'd be perfect. I think that one's semi-sam helps with harvest. So it'd be a perfect one.
I gave one a couple weeks ago to a guy. He's like, man, my nephew, he's having a birthday in a couple weeks. There's the present right there. It works perfect. So yeah, it's a great birthday present for youngins. So awesome. Well, as always, we thank you for listening to the BulkLoads podcast. If you know others that would be interested or would see value in what we do and the content we create here, we would love for you to share this with them so they can get the value as well. And as always, we thank you so much for being a listener and a member with us, and God bless.